that's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, with the first one, he says that. I don't know if I remember the second one you're talking about, but the one with Johnny where he looked at the VAR and he said that he was already going down, that he was slipping and he was already going down. I haven't seen him back, so I don't know if that's the case or not. But the first 15, 20 minutes, I thought we were certainly in the game, and we looked dangerous. And in one instance, we switch off defensively, and they play through us.
Next question, Felipe. Go ahead.
Hey, Brad. Yeah, I would agree. I think Columbus went up when they were second best at the time. Do you think that's? I mean, unfortunately, it seems that's something that was trending this season. You guys start off really well, just can't finish that chance. Give the other team another chance. I mean, looking back on this frustrating season, like, what do you think is your biggest regret? Like, how do you guys move on from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you compare when you look at take the personnel, the names, take that out of the equation, and you look at this year compared to last year, the ruthlessness, even the year before and the year before that, the ruthlessness in the opposition's box. Half chances, quarter chances, full chances, golden chances. We're putting the ball in the back of the net. And this year, obviously, not the case. And then when that happens, and at times we defend the way we have, you're not going to get many results. And tonight was again one of those nights. What was up?
Hey, Brad, I'm just kind of curious as to what your general thoughts are now that the season has come to an end, kind of looking forward at what is going to be the biggest challenge and what this team has to do to kind of get back to where it was in the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a bit premature to start thinking in that aspect. I mean, listen, we've just come off the pitch 15 minutes ago, and the frustration from first and foremost losing the game, that's still obviously very, very real, very raw. So that part's disappointing, obviously. In terms of going forward, yeah, there's when things don't go well, there's inevitably going to be change. So that's not for me to decide, and nor any of the players or whatnot. But we'll have to regroup and see what direction we look to go in.
Back to Felipe. Go ahead. Your line's open, Felipe.
Thanks, Chris. Brad, I mean, I understand you guys just played a match. It's hard to just go back and think about the entire season. But what comes to mind? Like, what comes to mind when I ask you, what was positive about this season, if any?
Yeah, none. I mean, listen, we pride ourselves on being a top club. We pride ourselves on winning games. We pride ourselves on not just making the playoffs, but competing for MLS Cup. We failed in all of those areas, and so we need to hit the reset button before next year, and yeah, it's difficult when you try to look back at the year and try and pull some positives, because from start to finish it wasn't acceptable for Atlanta United.
Anything else for Brad? All right, thanks, Brad.
Thanks, guys.
Go again, Winks.
Classy chicken, can you hear me?
Got you now.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and start here with Doug. Doug, first question, your line is open. Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen, the momentum of the game seemed to change on the penalty that wasn't given to Moreno, the penalty that was denied to Gallagher, and then Columbus scoring 4 minutes later. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, excuse me, sorry. Yes, 100%. I think the first one, I've not seen the Marcelino one yet, but I think it was a penalty kick. The Gallagher one, there's no doubt in my mind it's a penalty kick. I don't know how you can look at that and overturn it. That is clear and obvious. And then obviously they've shown a little bit of quality in the box that we didn't, and they got the first goal, which was pretty decisive in the game. So yeah, very, very disappointing in that regard.
Next question, Joe. Go ahead. Your line's open.
Hey, Glassy, I just wanted to real simply get your kind of a check on what emotions you're feeling, both during the game, in that kind of frantic end of the season game like that, and then now after the game.
It's obviously disappointment. We came here tonight hoping we get a win, hoping to push ourselves in the playoffs. We knew it was going to be difficult. You're against one of the top teams in the East, so it's never going to be easy. So we're disappointed with ourselves, and yeah, that's as far as it goes at the moment. We didn't get what we wanted out of the game, so we're disappointed with it.
Next question, Felipe. Go ahead. Your line's open.
Good evening, Stephen.
Hey.
What was the game plan? Because you guys, Atlanta United was the better team in that first 25, 30 minutes. When you go down, Columbus was second best. What was working, and what did you like for that first goal from Columbus?
I think Ezekiel was picking up the ball in good areas. Marcelino was pretty dangerous. The pace of Gallagher was a threat. And obviously Jurgen was provided a good number of crosses from the right, and Franco was backing him up. We looked pretty effective. We were getting in really good areas. When we get in those areas, you just want to find a little bit of quality. Now, they showed it after the 2 penalty incidents, and we didn't. But I don't think there's any doubt that they're both penalty kicks as far as I can see in the game. And obviously I've said I didn't see the Moreno one again, but I just can't for the life of me understand why the Gallagher one is not a penalty kick. We got told he'd slipped or he was on his way down, but I don't think that excuses the fact that the goalkeeper smashes him and he can't actually get up and put it in the net.
Back to Felipe. Go ahead. Your line's open.
Thanks, Chris. Stephen, perhaps it's too soon. You just finished the game, but how do you, I guess, characterize and analyze this season since you took over in the summer? The way you brought this team on the brink of a playoff berth after a pretty rough year. How do you look back on it at this point, considering you just finished the match just half hour ago?
The overwhelming feeling right now is disappointment. Obviously, we didn't achieve our goal, which means it's disappointing. I think, but in terms of the fight the players showed, especially tonight, you can't ask for more fight and more spirit out of them. Obviously, we can look for more quality at times, but I've said to them in there, we didn't not make the playoffs based on a performance tonight. There's been a few performances that were not at the level required, and that's what's cost us the playoff spot, not the performance tonight.
Joe, next question. Go ahead. Your line's open.
Yeah, hey, the team has a CONCACAF Champions League match here in about 5 or 6 weeks. Have you thought about what the schedule is going to be like, what the team is going to do between now and then?
Time off that they get, and they've got agreed, and then the CONCACAF's a little bit different. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of work behind the scenes that I'm not aware of yet, exactly what the timings will be. Hopefully that'll be out to us later tonight or early in the week.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Jeff, can you hear me?
Yep.
Great, let's go ahead and get started. First question, Doug, go ahead, your line is open.
Jeff, if you could just, I don't know, describe how you're feeling right now, and I hate to have to ask you this, but I have to ask you this because we're going to get to talk to you again. Do you know yet what your future holds?
I'm feeling frustrated. That's the first thing. It's disappointing a year when you don't make the playoffs, especially a year like this when you've gone since the first week of January with the ups and downs and the twists and turns along the way, and you have the final day to potentially get yourself into the playoffs. It's frustrating and disappointing. As far as next year goes, it's not really on my mind at the moment, and I'm still kind of digesting the season and the game tonight, and I'll figure that out.
Next question, Felipe, go ahead, your line's open.
Hey, Jeff, good evening. I asked Brad the same question, if you could point to any positives in this 2020 campaign for Atlanta United. He said there were none. Do you agree with him?
There's a positive, is that you never want it to happen again. You know what it feels like. That's a lesson for sure. People say you win or you learn, and I think this year we learned. So, if you win or you lose, you win or you learn. We learned.
Next question, Joe Patrick. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, hey Jeff. I just want to kind of ask you about what the team showed on the pitch today. It seemed like there was a lot of fight still, a lot of willingness to go forward, get the goals. Can you just kind of talk through what it's like to play in that kind of frantic end of season game?
Yeah, I think that especially in the first half, I thought that it often happens when we come to Columbus where we do get on the ball and we're able to kind of play an open game. I think they like playing that way. In the first half, I thought that we were doing well. I'm not sure why they reversed the penalty decision, but they did. But at that moment, it was like, we were getting pressure down the left. We were getting John in behind. We were getting Jurgen down the right. I felt we had a lot of possession in the middle of the field. And like you said, there was a lot of fight to the end. But it's kind of a symptom of our season. It just hasn't been enough. It's never been enough, and tonight was no different.
Doug, next question. Go ahead, Doug.
Sorry, I had to unmute. The first goal scored by Columbus, Guzan just described it as team switched off mentally for a few seconds, and that's been a symptom all season. Can you describe what happened on that goal?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that we tried to correct tactically at halftime. Is when they came down, Columbus are kind of famous for creating overloads in the wide spaces. They've been doing it for years. Usually it's down the right. This time it was down the left, and kind of pinned our winger back, and we weren't able to get pressure on the ball. And they play inside to Zell Ryan, who takes a touch past the defender and is able to score. So, it was a tactical thing that we didn't get right, and I think we adjusted at halftime, but obviously by then it was too late.
Felipe, go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Jeff, I just want to know if you could elaborate on what is learned. You speak for your team, but what do you think the lesson that is learned take away from this?
You kind of broke up at the end, but I think I got it. Well, you think about the history of Atlanta United. There hasn't been a lot of negativity, really. I think that at the beginning of 2019, that the fans were unhappy with the way we were playing, the results we were getting, and we got a little taste of it then. But we rebounded. This is kind of a prolonged season of ups and downs, but mostly downs. I think that the lesson is to you don't take this league for granted, because teams are always kind of tend to be rising and falling, but the good ones are there all the time, and it's not something that just happens. We can't take that for granted as a club. We can't take that for granted as players. The success that we've had in years past has been from hard work and kind of a collective attitude, and when things got tough, I don't think we had that collective mentality. It was difficult, a lot of twists and turns in 2020. But you see many teams around the league that are able to accomplish what they are within the circumstances. So that's what we were learning. That's the lesson. You can't expect to come to the club or the league and say, well, we're just going to be successful. It's not how it is.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, guys.